Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to go through backflow preventers, which prevent water from backflowing from your project back into the public system. There are a variety of different backflow prevention devices, and it's important to understand how they work so that you'll have a better understanding of when to use each type of product in your project and how to orient it. So let's learn about backflow preventers. Good morning and welcome back. For this episode, we're going to talk about backflow preventers and detector check assemblies and RPZs. As you can see, there's a document here that we've written years ago. A little bit of this is outdated, but I'll read through the beginning and talk briefly about some of these. It says backflow preventers should be used on all projects that can vary in size from 1/4 inch to 12 inches. Backflow preventer is typically the distinguishing point between the public system and the private system. Sometimes backflow preventers can be placed in the riser room. Public easements may be required up to the building, so check with the permitting authority and let the client make a decision before informing the mechanical department on the chosen location. Locating the backflow preventer in the riser room is generally cheaper due to the elimination of the vault. This would really only happen if the building is sprinkled. So if you're doing small buildings, generally less than 12,000 square feet, you probably won't need the building to be sprinkled, although there are some jurisdictions that require all commercial buildings to be sprinkled no matter how big they are. Care should be taken to ensure that both locations, either at the right-of-way or the riser room, are not specified so that the plans are coordinated to prepared efficiently. Most backflow assemblies come in cast or ductile iron, bronze, and stainless steel. It should be used in that order due to cost. So cast or ductile iron is the first choice and cheapest, and stainless steel is the most expensive and last choice. A couple different types. The double check valve assembly is the most basic form of a backflow preventer, and that's this one here. You have a gate valve on either end that you can put in the vault, and this is so that you can turn it off, disconnect it, and take this assembly out. And so that's the basic form and the cheapest form. Generally, we want to propose that first, and that's a DCVA, double check valve assembly. Then, if you put a relief valve in between these two checks, you need to have space down here, either in the vault or many times that this is put above ground and has a box on top of it to keep it warm. But there needs to be space for any pressure that gets past this first valve to be relieved out of this relief valve. And so this is a reduced pressure zone because in between these two checks here, there's a zone where there's no pressure. And if anything gets in there and there is pressure, it gets relieved. And these are mainly used in high hazard areas, like maybe either with irrigation where you might have chemicals that could get into the irrigation valves or irrigation sprinkler heads, or if it's connected to a sprinkler system where you might have chemical agents in that sprinkler system. So anytime there's a high health hazard, the jurisdiction will typically require a reduced pressure zone assembly. The next one down here is the detector check, and this used to be done in the past a lot, is not done quite as much anymore. The way that it works is if you used, this would be put on a fire line, and if you used water through the fire line and water went this direction through these double checks, water would also go through a small meter in these double checks, and the jurisdiction could see that you were using water from this line. And typically, you weren't supposed to be doing that. This wouldn't be put on your domestic line. It would only be put on a fire line. Now, jurisdictions just require you to put in a full-size meter. So instead of having this little meter that would save money, they just get rid of this altogether, and then they just make you put in a full-size meter on the main line. And it costs a lot more for the client, but the cities don't care, and so that's why this is really not done anymore. And then this one here basically just combines this detector check with the reduced pressure zone, and again, they would just make you put in a meter here. So typically these two on the bottom, the detector checks, are not used very much anymore. As I said previously, the backflow preventer is typically the point distinguishing between the public and private. And so you would many times, if unless you've been told otherwise by the jurisdiction, you would want to put the meter on the public side of the right-of-way line and then put the backflow preventer on the private side of the right-of-way line. And you would handle all of the maintenance with the backflow preventer, and then the city would handle all of the maintenance with the meter. And so this concludes a little introduction to backflow preventers. Thank you.